and welcome to the Lion's Den. I'm your host, Maria Lyons. And today on our show, we have a wonderful guest, Miss Peggy Brockman out of Fort Walton Beach, Florida. And she is a renowned author of the best-selling book, 10 Feet from the Edge, Stuck in the Comfort Zone. Hi, Peggy. Thanks for joining us.
Hello, Maria. Thank you for having me.
So
exciting.
So, Peggy, before we get started, now, there was that storm that just came through down there. Were you guys affected by it at all?
Nope. We were, because we're in the Panhandle, way over, lower Alabama, then we missed most of the storm, fortunately. Just a little wind, little rain. Unfortunately, our Floridians in South Florida weren't so lucky.
Oh, okay. So did you have family members that were affected by it?
I did. I had several friends and some family that are in the lower part of Florida. So it was a very scary time. Having been through Hurricane Ivan here, we really understand what can happen and what the devastation can be. And so I think it brings up a lot of fears for all of us who have ever been through a major hurricane. And we lost a home in Hurricane Ivan. So, just having gone through that, your sympathy level goes way up and you feel the anxiety that knowing what they're going through. So it's kind of tough.
So, Peggy, we'll just go ahead and get straight into the interview right here because I want my guests to really get to know you. And one of the things that you've had a tremendous amount of success over your career. And one of the things that, before we actually get started, I know you've had some success over everything that you've done and several things that you've been into, but can you tell me just a little bit about where you're from and how you actually got started?
Absolutely. I'm from a small town in Alabama, good old Southern girl from Alabama, and I'm from Anniston, Alabama, and actually spent the first 36 years of my life there. And I have been an entrepreneur since I was a child. I started a library in my garage when I was 10 years old, I think, and, charged 10 cents when people were late with their books, returning them. So I've always been an entrepreneur, but at the age of 23, I had my first business as a Tupperware manager. I actually sold Tupperware and made manager really quick, drove the Tupperware station wagon. But at 25, I really followed my passion. And I had grown up in a modeling school and personal development school, Miss Macy's Charm School. And from the time I was 11 years old, and I bought my first modeling school when I was 25. And so that really started my business and entrepreneurial path, and owned that for 11 years before moving to Florida, and just kind of went through a change of life, decided to leave Anniston, Alabama, and just made a big move to Florida and never looked back and haven't regretted it. But I didn't stay in that industry. My life took a different path. When I came to Florida, I ended up getting into media, and I began to I worked for a radio station. I had worked for a newspaper previously, but worked for a radio station, and then went to work for the cable company and managed the local TV station here. So that was, it was just a fun time in life. And even during all of that, I continued to be an entrepreneur. I started a little side business. My husband and I owned a bagel shop. And then I started a side business with a health and wellness company that grew into a national business that allowed me to retire from the corporate world. So that's kind of where that was my path in short.
That's an extensive path from being a librarian to selling Tupperware to modeling to media to but anyway, one of the things I wanted to ask you was that desire to succeed, to keep going too. There's got to be something within you that keeps you going. What do you attribute that kind of success to? because you've obviously been successful in everything that you've done. Otherwise, you wouldn't keep going.
Yeah. And, you know, my philosophy on that, Maria, is that I think that there are some people who are born to lead and are born to be entrepreneurs, and they find it path. I think that my path was actually, I went through a critical illness at the age of 17, and I had to grow up pretty quick. It robbed me of a lot of things that I loved in life. I had been a cheerleader all my life, and I didn't get to cheer my senior year in high school. At the age of 19, I went in the hospital and had major surgery, was there for my colon had ruptured, and I spent 6 months in the hospital. I went through every major complication that could have happened, pretty much happened to me at that time. And I was blessed to be given my life. And there was that day that I was ready to give up after about 3 months and being in excruciating pain, and I just was tired, and I was just done. And the hospital chaplain, who I had become good friends with, came in that day, and he said, "Peggy, you know, today we're going to talk about the only power that you have, and that's the power of choice." And he said, you can choose to take all the gifts and the talents that God has given you and use those to inspire other people, to help other people in their growth path, or you can choose to take all of that with you and die. And so I made that choice that day, and from that day forward, for the next 3 months, 4 months, whatever it was, I fought every single day to be able to get up out of that bed and to walk out of that hospital. And I knew then that my path would be about helping others and helping and inspiring and empowering others to be the best that they could be.
Wow. Now he came in there. You were 19 years old when this happened, right? And he talked to you. Wow. So you, and a lot of that was overcoming a lot of the mental stuff that was going on in your head too.
Yeah.
Because it was real easy to give up, I'm sure, at that time.
Yeah, yeah. It's really all about attitudes, beliefs, and choices, and that's what my book is about. And so it really, I tell the full story. That was the very, very condensed short version of the story, because the real story is about 4 or 5 chapters long.
Right.
But then I really talk about the importance of attitude and the importance of our belief system, and the choices we make, because I made some bad choices even during my illness. You know, I tell about, you know, one of my chapters is my dirty dark secret, and I'm not going to tell you what it is. You'll have to read the book to find out. But
come on.
Yeah. So.
Well, now I noticed the bee that's on your neck. You know, I'm wearing my dragonfly, but you have a bee on your neck. Now, if I remember, there's, not giving anything away, but tell me a little bit about your bee.
Well, this is it's actually part of my logo. The bee is, and the bee, this one is very, very special to me because this is the gift my husband gave me when my book was published. And so will always be very special to me. But one of the chapters in my book is called Bee Leafs, Beelief. And that is because we have these bees that buzz messages in our ears that we don't need to listen to. And then some of the ones that are buzzed, we need to listen to. And it's deciphering which of those messages are good for us and which will move us forward in life, or which will keep us stuck in a comfort zone that we don't need to be in, because we don't grow if we don't get out of our comfort zone.
That's so true. That is absolutely the truth. So now moving forward, you've gotten the book written. We've heard a little bit about your book, and I'm going to ask you some more questions, obviously. But right now, what is it that you are currently doing with yourself and with your business?
Well, my life took, after the health and wellness company I was with went through some changes, so did I. And about almost 6 years ago, John Maxwell had always been a very, I considered him a mentor of mine because I listened to him and read his books and all of that. And I had the opportunity to hear him speak in person here in Pensacola. And, you know, fate, I believe in fate, and things happen the way they're supposed to. And it was just a kind of a freak last minute thing that a friend of mine couldn't come to a meeting that I was having because she had 2 tickets to hear John Maxwell speak, or she had tickets to John Maxwell. And I said, I want to go. I love him. And so I went, and, you know, I just kind of canceled everything I had planned and said, and she said, well, I have 2 extra tickets. And it was at that meeting that they had introduced the John Maxwell team. It was brand new at the time. And so, and it was like, I knew I was supposed to be there at that moment. And I knew that that was the path that my life had been destined to go down. And so they had formed a team of speakers, trainers, and coaches. And so it was a very difficult time in life for me right then. But I did what I had to do to make it happen because I knew that it was what I was supposed to be doing. And so that took me down the path of professional coaching. I had always been a coach to many people, and the one that, you know, a lot of my friends would come to and things like that. But I began my path as a professional business coach because I'm an entrepreneur, because I have had several successful businesses, and because I've had some businesses that have failed, and I've learned through it all, coupled with my marketing background. Business coaching was something that just, you know, it was a no-brainer for me. And it really is something that I absolutely love. Also, the motivational speaking. So those 2 things are really, you know, my true passion and path, because my personal mission statement is to inspire and empower through my words as an author, my voice as a speaker, and through my heart as a friend and mentor. And so in being able to, you know, that really helped fulfill my mission. And so that's, you know, and I love my business coaching clients. It's such a fun thing, and they're very different. I have people in the financial industry. I have entrepreneurs that are just starting businesses. I love working with new entrepreneurs and helping guide them in the right direction, and planning and knowing how to market, and helping them with creating their all of their stuff that they need. And then because I have a background in the network marketing and direct sales industry, then, you know, being able to work with people in that industry has been great too. So.
Well, I have seen you speak in front of the room, and you are a dynamic speaker. I love your personality. You're such a wonderful person to just sit and listen to. You're such a dynamic, wonderful person. But one of the things about you is that you are a business coach, and one of the things I wanted to ask you about is, what are some of the types of tools that you actually use for your clients?
Well, that's a great question, and I do have some tools that every client of mine goes through what I call the OMS assessment. It's an organizational management assessment tool, and I actually use that when I'm coaching with large companies to help them hire the right people the first time, and to learn how to better manage their employees as individuals. With my small business clients, my entrepreneurs, I use it to help really learn where their strengths are. It talks about it. It helps determine what someone's behavioral styles are, what their interaction styles are, what their sales styles are, all of those types of things. So we really know where to go with that person and how to guide them, and where to teach them where they're going to need to find support in their something that's not a strength area of theirs, and how to really grow on their strength areas. And then the other thing that I have that I just love, that is also a brilliant tool, is I have a site called successtoolsforyou.com, and that's FORYOU. So successtoolsforyou.com, and that is a marketing website, and it is anything and everything that a business person needs to know and learn how to best market their business. They get weekly emails with videos and workbooks and everything. And for $97 a month, it is the most brilliant tool that any person that is an entrepreneur can use. And it is a self-guided program. I do use it with my coaching clients that it's appropriate for, and included in their coaching package. So it really depends on what level I'm working with a client and what their needs are.
That's pretty awesome.
That one really helps teach people about how to determine what their market dominating position is.
Okay. Awesome. So, but what if we want to hire you as a personal business coach? How do we get information about you? Where do we find your book?
You can go to PeggyBrockman.com, and it's BROCKMAN, and it's PEGGY. So PeggyBrockman.com is my website, and everything is there. I mean, you can find out everything about me as far as speaking. There's actually a tool on there that people can email me right there, or call me right from my website. There's also a place that you can put your name and email address in, and let me know that you're interested in hearing from me when I have things coming up.
Well, awesome. Well, you know what? I could talk to you all day long, but our interview is coming to a close. But there's a few more questions I want to ask you. What are some other projects that you're currently working on right now that you're really excited about?
I'm just always excited about my business clients, and I've got 2 or 3 that really have me excited right now that I'm doing some work with, and helping them put everything together. And then also, I'm learning about cryptocurrency, and that's been really fun. It's a whole foreign thing to me, and so I'm having fun with that, and I've become quite the expert at it. So I can help anybody that wants to understand it, and been kind of dabbling in that.
A new book, maybe?
A new book is coming out, yes. But
all right, so we're going to go into a round. It's called our lightning round, where I'm going to throw a few questions at you. I'm going to put on a timer real quick so that so we don't go past our time. But these questions that I'm going to ask you, I'm just going to fire them at you. You have 1 minute total to get through all of these. We'll see if we get through them. It's to let our viewers just get to know you a little bit, a quirky side of you. I want you to just have fun with it. But let me set my timer so that we don't go past. Let's see. One of these days, I'm going to learn how to actually use an iPhone, right? Okay. Now let's see. We want to have a fun time, right? Twinkle? Is that a good one? Okay. Oh, I wish I had a bee. We'll do quacking ducks. Okay, so there's our timer. All right, you ready? Are you there? Did Peggy hang up?
I didn't actually. I am so very sorry.
I thought we lost Peggy.
My computer just died.
Well, the main thing is that you're back.
And I just yanked my husband's computer out of his lap. The
lightning round. I was like, she just scared for the lightning round. How funny.
Yeah. So, but anyway, I think I was saying that I am working on a new book, and so and it's based on my one of my keynote speeches that I use is called Growing from Stuck to Wow, Watch Out World. And so that is what the book topic is.
Oh, awesome. Awesome. Well, you had said that you were working on a new book, and we laughed, and then you disappeared. And I was,
I was going to work on it, you know?
That was funny. All right, so I've set the timer. We have a lightning round coming up. We're going into that right now. So you're going to answer these questions as quickly as possible, and the exercise is to let viewers kind of get to know the quirky side of you, and just to have fun. So have fun with it, all right?
So you don't want me to sing any crazy songs or anything?
Hey, I'll up to you, whatever you want to do. All right, you ready?
I'm ready.
We're starting now. All right, so if you were in the business that you're currently in now, what career path would you like to pursue?
You know, I think I would love travel writing, because we've been traveling all over the country in our motorhome. And so I think that would be something kind of fun.
Okay. If there's a field or job that you could never see yourself in, what is that?
Well, I could never make it as a stripper. That's, I mean, there are a lot of things I couldn't see myself in, but that's number one.
What music do you listen to when you're trying to get into the zone?
Well, I have a little ADHD, ADD going on, so music is actually distracting to me. And so it either has to be something very calming, but I am better off with no music and no TV on. If I need to get into the zone, I have to have total silence. What
is your favorite guilty pleasure?
Oh, ice cream. Love me a Chick-fil-A ice cream cone.
Who is your celebrity crush?
Well, you know, I don't really have. When I was a child, Dr. Kildare was my crush. I used to go up and kiss the television when it would come on. But if there was anybody, I guess it would be the McDreamy on Grey's Anatomy. Oh, he's good looking guy. He's not there anymore, and I really hate that. But
perfect. Okay, so
Patrick Dempsey, I think his name is.
Okay, name one super gigantic goal that you plan to achieve in the near future.
Getting my new book finished. That's a big one.
And we are out of time. It's getting ready to start quacking. There it is. Well, thank you, Peggy Brockman. Oh, wait, it's still quacking. I don't know how to make it stop. Well, thank you, Peggy Brockman, for being on the Lion's Den with Maria Lyons. I appreciate you.
Thank you for having me. I loved it. And thank you for all you're doing to help all of our entrepreneurs out there and inspire as many people as you do inspire, Maria.
Aw, thank you. Well, thanks y'all for joining the Lion's Den. I'm Maria Lyons. Be the reason someone smiles today. Be passionate about the things you believe in. And thanks. Have fun.